Hello everybody, this is Jasmina, and in this video I am going to talk about converting a date selection time, which is a solar time, to your local clock time. So this is the opposite of what you do for your birth time because your birth time is given on clock time. So we're just doing the backwards thing, and it's basically very similar. You just flip whether you're adding or subtracting. But when I put down, if you remember, and I put down a good hour to do something, uh, that that comes from a date selection formation. This is the local solar hour for your present location on that day, wherever you are on that day. So if you're not at home, then you have to redo this calculation for whatever location you happen to be at. Now, even within a given time zone, which is actually rather broad, the local solar hour can vary quite a bit. If you look at the difference between the clock hour and the solar hour, they actually can vary quite a bit whether you're on the east side or the west side of your particular time zone. And daylight savings time complicates the situation quite a bit. Now, this video will show you again how to convert the stated date selection hour, which is a solar time, to your local clock time. And again, the website timeanddate.com will likely be your most useful tool, where you will be choosing the Sun tab from the Sun, Moon, and Space drop-down menu. And this is what it looks like. So if you've watched the other one, you've seen this one before. It's the exact same image. And this is the sun and moon. When you hover over it or click, can't remember, it will drop down a menu and you click on the sun, the top one. Now, once you're on that web page, it will change for you. You need to enter the city where you will be using the date selection formation. So you have to know where you are on that date. If you don't, you may have to go back to this once you know where you will be on that date. So most time, unless you're on vacation, you're going to be home. And so this is where you would place your city. And this is what it looks like once you've hit the sun calculator. This is what's on top. This is an actual screenshot. And you just start typing in the city and it will start listing possible locations. If you misspell it, it won't find anything. So, spell things right. Anyway, once you're there, once you've found the city, make sure it really is your city. And it will show a map. And so if you've got the wrong country or the wrong state, you probably will know it. But you want to make sure you're in the right, when I say state, I mean somewhere between federal level and city level. That province in Canada, they call it all different things. But anyway, that's that level. Make sure it's the right city, right state, and right country. Especially if you're in America, because there are a lot of cities with names that are the same as the cities in Europe. Now, if your city's not listed, and if it's a very small city, it won't likely be. Find the next closest city, preferably close to your longitude, because that is what has to do with the solar hour. So in the United States, I can't say this for other countries, but in the United States, I have found a city that's just over 10,000 people. It's listed. One that's less than 5,000 is not. I don't know exactly where the cutoff is, but my guess it's probably 10,000. So, but there's other close by cities. Now, once you click on the correct city, the current month's data will appear as a table below there's a sun path image. That's the best way I can describe it. Anyway, you simply scroll down a little bit, you'll find the table. And I'm going to use an example this coming January 2026, which is still part of the wood snake year. I have 3 dates that are part of the Sansha windfall wealth dates, the calculations, and there was quite a few more dates that month, but those dates were the best ones, and they're of middle quality. My best, strongest date won't happen until I'm 99, and all the ones since I'm over 60, all the ones in my past have also passed, because there's a 60-year cycle. Now, I do plan to choose a single date to buy a single lottery ticket, one set of numbers for one drawing. And that's because for me, I don't tend to have lucky streaks. I get lucky occasionally, I get unlucky occasionally, but it's kind of one-off. So I only want to do this for one thing. And if you are going to use this for yourself, you also should just choose one set of numbers for one drawing. If you want to use all 3 dates, like I could, and it is tempting, but I won't. It would be okay, but you still only do one set of numbers because you're putting that luck on that one set of numbers. Now, of course, there's no guarantee. I haven't shown that this works. The results so far are somewhat encouraging, but there's not enough data to make a statement yet. Now, I did this in the Sansha example when I was giving that video. I gave an example of 3 days that were good, and I chose a certain day. I don't remember which one, but after applying personal date selection, I've changed the date I'm going to use, and I'm going to use January 15th instead. And the reason is, of those 3 dates, it's the only one that has a wealth element on the day's pillar, that is January 15th's pillar. So this is the reason, one extra reason why I chose this. The dates are pretty similar in quality, so it's not like I'm giving up a whole lot. Now, the best hours from this Sansha for windfall wealth calculation for me on January 15th is either the snake hour or the dog hour. Now, if you've watched the personal date selection, and if you remember I have a pig in my year, there is no way I would choose a snake hour. And the snake hour isn't very convenient either. Well, it's actually not that bad. But I'm definitely not going to choose it because I clash with it. It's my year breaker animal. So, because this is buying a lottery ticket and I have nothing to do with influencing what numbers come up, I use the year pillar. It's like an interview. It's up to them to decide. All you can do is your best in the interview. And this is basically what we're doing here. So you look at your year pillar and you want to look at the clash for your year pillar, which is also called the it's called the personal breaker. And the snake is my personal breaker, so I wouldn't use that. And I also look at the DE for the year pillar, and it's dragon and snake. Well, snake again, that doesn't make any difference. Certainly I will not use the snake. Now the dragon I wouldn't use, but of course I would prefer to use one of the hours from this, and so it'll be the dog hour. Now the dog hour doesn't clash with the earth ox day. That's good, because otherwise it would be the daybreaker hour, but it's not. And it's not a negative branch for my year, or actually it's not a negative branch for anything, any of my pillars. So I would definitely choose this hour to buy the ticket. Now I'm going to add a piece of Chemin to this, and I don't know if it makes any difference, but I'm going to buy my ticket at a location that is located in a good direction from my residence for that day. So I get the hour chart for January 15th at the dog hour, and I look at all of the 8 directions and I choose a place that sells lottery tickets at that hour that has good properties in that direction. I don't know if it makes much of a difference, but since I'm not the luckiest person on the planet and definitely not lucky when it comes to the lottery, I need all the help I can get. And so there is a certain energy you do when so I do plan to leave the house and go out and buy it, not buy it online. I don't even know if I can. I probably can, but you know, I don't tend to do those kind of things. Now, so again, I've changed the date from, I think it was the 10th, when I just looked at all the date properties, to the 15th now. And now that I know this hour, I know the dog hour, and this is the dog hour's time, I need to convert that hour, that solar hour, to my local clock time. So this is the date, the 2026, January 15th. This is the time, the key time. This is solar noon, is the one on the left column. And so 12:33. When it's solar noon, it is 12:33 on my clocks. So I have to add those extra minutes to the solar time, the dog hours time, to have the right clock time for me, so I don't buy it at the wrong time. Because if I buy it at the wrong time, I'm not taking advantage of the Sancha for windfall wealth. So this is the dog hour in solar time. The clock will read 12 for the solar clock when my local clock will read 12:33, and I'm pretty sure I know where I'll be because this is my busiest month. January is my busiest month, and I'm pretty sure I'll be at home. So then this time, the solar time, becomes this in my clock time. Now, for most people, especially if you're not on daylight savings, if you choose a mid-hour, it could be okay. And so in this case, it would be at 8 p.m. But if you are in a daylight saving time situation, this could be a real problem. So you have to, this is why I really want you to do this, because otherwise you could easily do the wrong time. Now, there are places, I have actually checked places, and some of them are nearly 2 hours. The clock time is almost 2 hours off of the solar time. I think it was Seattle, but I could be wrong, during the summer when daylight savings is in effect. And it was actually 1:55 p.m. solar noon. So if that were my case, if I were in Seattle, although this in January there's not daylight savings, but I would have to move it all the way to 8:55 p.m. to 10:54 p.m. So this is this is why you don't want to just pick this without checking, especially if you're in a daylight savings time situation, because it moves the whole clock, our clock time, not real time, not solar time, a whole hour. So this is something really, really to be careful with. Now, if the solar noon occurs before 12, and there are places that do, not during daylight savings usually, but otherwise, and then what you do is you find the difference between 12 noon and that clock time at solar noon, and you subtract those minutes from your date selection time. And so this is the opposite action of what you're doing when you're converting your birth time to your solar time. And that's because the focus is different. The time focus is different. When you're changing from an indicated solar time, from date selection, you know when the solar time is, so you use that as a focus. And so then you have to, in this case, add those minutes if it's after and subtract if it's before. But when you're using the birth time on your birth certificate, that's clock time because that's what the doctor looks at. And so the clock time's the focus. And then you do the opposite. You're going to subtract the minutes if it's afternoon and add the minutes if it's before noon. So this can be very confusing, but it's just two clocks and one is the correct clock or it's what's not the correct clock, it's the focus clock. And so you do the opposite activity. Now this makes 100% sense to somebody who's a scientist or a mathematician. It just, it's obvious actually for those of us who are scientists, and I suppose mathematicians too. So that's it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I really want you guys to use the right hours. Otherwise, you don't get the right energies from the date selection. And I have been a slightly negligent in saying that this is the solar time. I knew this and I just forgot to say it. I mean, I've always known that it's the solar time we're talking about. So I hope this will help everybody. Of course, I can't do this for you because I don't know where you live. So you have to do this conversion for yourself if you're going to use the date selection formations or the Sanshaf or Windfall Wealth, or all these things. So good luck, in experiencing this. And I think if you make sure you're doing solar time, your outcome will be better. But thanks again for watching.